Hi, Miss Princess here once again, and I would like to share with all of you on preparing your croquis for fashion drawing. Croquis is a general term referring to templates that we normally use in our fashion drawing, in developing designs, perhaps illustration. So, in this particular topic, I would like to share on how to prepare croquis that you may use in fashion drawing to illustrate the fabrics or the designs that you would like to do. So first of all, you need to prepare, or you need to do some reference on how to um, do a good fashion figure. So this topic or this session today, I've already prepared in advance, considering that you already have some basics in fashion figure drawing or basic 8 or 9 figures in fashion. So normally my students will have this problem on proportion. The first thing that you need to really tackle in croquis is definitely the proportion. So how to check on the proportion? It always starts with the head. So in the first image that you see here, the head, you just start on vertical lines. It can slightly tilt not more than 5 degrees to the left or either to the right. So you can start with a straight 90 degrees line and draw an oval shape that indicates the head. If you feel comfortable with the size of the head, with the considering of your whole paper, that you might then you can measure the one head using the measuring technique in drawing. Okay, so from the tip of the pencil to that end is one head. So then we go by the formula: one head, half head, two heads, hip one head, and then you can go as long as you want from waist down. This is a exaggerated figure. Okay, this is not the standard 8 heads. This is 9 and above. Okay, so start with the head, and after the head, measure the neck. The neck should be half head, so it should be only half of the tip of the pencil. And then after doing the vertical lines for the head and the neck, then you can slightly bend to the left or to the right. My suggestion is no more than 10 degrees from 90, from this part, not more than 45. 45 is too much, so just go about like 60 or 80 degrees, okay? Or maybe on the other side, same goes, and do not go too much, because that will implicate the whole look of the design later on. It's difficult to draw. Yeah, so it's one head from the neck here up to the bust point, and from the bust point to the waist is another head. Move on from the waist to the hip line is one head. And there you go, that you can see from the width of the neck is 1.5 head. So I place the pencil in the middle, and we have like a sufficiently half head and half head on both sides. So yeah, that's not quite half head, sorry, that is like a quarter and a quarter. So it makes like 1.5, or because two is a bit too long. And you need to consider the angle of the figure as well. It is not quite frontal, it is slightly 3/4. So a certain part or one side of the body is definitely shorter due to foreshortening. And please just consider that this is a general and basic rule. And next on is the width of the waist is always one head. And then we go, you can elongate the figure as long as you want, but don't go overboard or else it looks ridiculous. And it is safe to go by ratio or by standard, which from waist to knee will have to be similar with the length from knee to the ankle. And then you will have a proportionate figure. So how long will that be? You can go 3 heads from the waist down, or 3.5 heads, And you can use that measurement the same from knee to ankle as you see. And the feet will always one head. One head is an indicator of feet using the foot or the feet using heels or high heels. It is a lengthened look from the front. So take note of that. Okay, and then you have a basic frontal figure or three quarter, if I may say. Just point it out, and you can flesh it out. Don't go too much on the bust, because if from the front, normally we cannot really see the bust. So don't put it too much, because somehow it'll be difficult for you to draw as well. So just go by straight lines, indicate the armhole, and then continue until the waist and also the hip. Now, the width of the hip, you can go similarly to the shoulder or slightly small, so you can go 1.5 head. Okay, and you can just connect the lines. I just indicate the outer lines. If you want to go the inner part of the leg, by all means. And this sharing is about how to do it quickly as well. So I normally will put on indicator on the outer line of the feet. Okay, so there you go. And don't forget the hands. So remember that the hands, the elbow is always parallel with the waist. And it's easy to say, it is safe to say that the palm will have to be in between the thigh. And more or less the length from the shoulder to the elbow and elbow to the wrist is pretty much the same length. And the hand is one face. It's not quite one head. It's my hand is small, but it's not more, not too small than one face. Okay, so then we proceed to the face. Normally, my student will have this problem on I cannot draw the face very well. I cannot draw it. So they will skip all over, or they just simplify the face with just like one line of the eye, and just like the tip of the mouth, which is fine. But if you want to develop your skills, then you need to practice. And this is a good way of practicing, because you're practicing using your own drawing and your own strokes. The first thing that you need to do is to draw a good frontal face. You can get notes on how to do frontal face, the easier one. They have complicated ones, and they have the easier ones, whatever that suits you, whatever that you get, the notes that you get, that you can draw, and you can get one full face. You can refine the drawing, and I would suggest you to do another set of head, in which you can do a three quarter. You can do Asian head, you can do Asian head, you can do the black, the Caucasian, because sometimes you want to do some diversity in our drawing, so it is good to have those heads from time to time. Okay, so there you go, you have the heads and you have the body. So now let's move on to how we want to merge the head and the body all together. You can use Photoshop. By the way, I use Photoshop in this skill demonstration. So the body, the croquis for the body, I emphasize the lines using pencil, just make it darker, and then I scan. And same goes with the head. I scan all together. So it's in A4 size, so it is easy to match it. Okay, so both in A4 size, and of course the head is bigger. So what are you going to do? You can crop the head. Okay, just crop the head using Photoshop, and then transfer it to the other file, copy and paste, and just place it nicely on the body according to the scale. And you will get a good croquis. Now, if you get tired of using this croquis over and over again, you can change the head. And when you change the head, make sure it is nicely placed, the neck at the X of the neck. So there you go, there you have your own croquis. You print it out and you can use it anytime anywhere, forever. Okay, so there you go. That is a simple way of doing your croquis. And you can, yeah, you just make sure that you have a good hairline of the hair so that you know where to start if you're doing some hair extension on your drawing. Okay, there you go, you have it. So let's move on to the hair. So the hair will indicates the lifestyle or the vibe of the drawing. So if it's a sporty or fashion sports, you can do a high tie of the hair. If it's a subtle, a very feminine look, then you can do a let down hair, or maybe something that is fancy that you can go bob style. So in this drawing onwards, well, I choose to do bob style. So when you do bob style on the croquis that you've just printed, so don't forget to render it. My simple tips on rendering: go with the first. I only have like basically 3 rules in rendering the hair. Simple way. Okay, after doing the outline of the hair, just like this one, just like this one, and if this one, you can focus on rendering the hair here. So first is the direction of the lines. So the direction of the lines will have to reflect the direction of the hair. Okay, so in this case, you don't go this way, you go this way, and you go this way according to the form and the shape of the head. Okay, that is first rule. Second rule is to leave 3 area without any hatching. That would be here on top of the forehead, here up there, and on top of the ear, and in between neck. So I normally will pay attention on those 3 points. 1, 2, 3. This might not be so accurate, but this will be helpful in terms of doing some quick rendering in your sketches. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. That is rule number 2. Rule number 3 is if you have long hair, if your drawing has long hair, remember to darken this place in between the ears up inside here. That will be pitch black. So then you will have some indicator of the hair of the outer side and the hair in the inner side, and you have the basic rendering. Easy. Okay, that is your front view. So how to do the back view? So this is just a tips. Okay, so I normally use A4 butter paper pad. So you can use layout paper, you can use newsprint, or you can use basic normal A4 paper of 70 gram and use light box. So I'm not using light box here. So this is just an easy way of doing it. So have your butter paper, whatever the paper that you can see through using your croquis, just like that. So you can see it through. Now, normally the general rule of doing sketches, if you have the frontal view tilting to, let's say, on the right side, so the back view will have to mirror the front view. In this still demonstration, I'm just doing it one side. So if you have the time, you can always manipulate the image using Photoshop or Illustrator, just reflect it, and you can use that as your your reference for the back view. In this case, I just use the same. This is for quick sketches. All right, so things to remember. First of all, the head. So from the front, you have the bangs, you have whatever it is on the front, but from the back, so remember that from the back, it is somehow simpler. So, well, that depends on the haircut, but in this bob haircut, I just chose to have like a normal haircut. The back is slightly long, okay, so it's easy. Okay, the neckline. From the front, it is always curved downwards. Okay, from the back, it is not curved, it's not quite a straight line as well, but it's upward a little bit. Okay, the spine. From the front, it is that way. From the back, actually, it's not this much, but it should be like a slightly straight. But you can use this as a guideline, and the back width is normally slightly down like that. Well, I didn't draw, but it is normally just a little bit curved downwards. Okay, the waist. The waist from the front is facing upwards, so from the back, it is still upwards. And another important indicator of the back will be the crouch or the bum. Okay, the hip area. So from the front, it is clearly we draw clearly the crouch. Okay, from the back, it is safer just to do some sort like lines, just like that, to indicate it's from the back. And also the indicator will be the hands. From the front, we have only one hand visible, the other hand is somehow at the back. So it is safe to say one hand at the back, one hand at the front. Okay, this drawing is something wrong with this drawing, in which this one should be longer, this one should be shorter. So, well, there is some error in the still demonstration, but I'm acknowledging it. Okay, so please take note on the proportion. Like I said, indicator of the back will be the hand. Now, notice that this is a tip, another tip of doing or drawing the hand simple and simpler way is to do this way. Notice at the front, I only capture the thumb and the point finger, the first finger. So it's only like that, yeah? This part and this part. Only that one. If you want to capture this, all the other four, the other three, up to you. But I normally just do this part so that it's yeah, just like that. Yeah, okay. And how to indicate the back? You redraw the thumb and the first finger, but then you can add this one. This one. Okay, and your pinky. It is actually the same line for the drawing. You just add this part and the pinky, and it straight away indicates the look from the back for the hand. Okay, and the other one is, like I mentioned, it's now the bum. Like I mentioned just now, logically speaking, that the other hand should be visible at the back. But sometimes, for whatever reason, I wouldn't mind if my students will somehow move the hand to the front. It will appear a little bit awkward. The pose is a bit awkward, but it's fine. It's just to indicate design sometimes. Okay, so you can do that considering that the other parts of the body will still indicates from the rear view. Okay, and don't forget the feet. As I mentioned, if the measurement from the ankle to the floor is one head, then the model should be using high heels. So don't forget that. So there you go. Having only one croquis from the front, then you can have another one from the back. And yes, and you can use this as your croquis for your fashion drawing. You have the front, you can manipulate the hair, you can manipulate the head, and it's a simple way of doing rear view of your design. All the best.